Multiband compression on the mix bus? Don't let the haters tell you no. The one thing that multi-Grammy winning audio engineer Al Schmitt said he uses on every single mix since the day he's first used it, the Tube Tech SMC-2B multiband compressor. And what does he use it on? The mix bus. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. If you happen to be new here, I'm Emily Bowie. I make educational home audio engineering videos that'll help you out in your musical journey. If you'd like to help support those efforts, all you gotta do is hit that subscribe button and like this video. All painless and completely free to do that. All right, let's get into today's lesson. The late, great Al Schmitt was one of the best audio engineers ever to make records. His approach was simple and elegant. He hardly ever used EQ. You don't really have to when you understand proper recording techniques like mic placement. He also didn't like adding a lot of compression. But when he did, it was for a reason. And one of his favorites, the Tube Tech SMC-2B multiband compressor. And his use for it? The mix bus, producing a variety of hits. So in my search to bring that amazing analog sound and workflow to a modern era of DAW engineering, I thought I would test out Al's mix bus approach and see if we can get a better sounding song. So here is the plug-in version of the SMC-2B multiband compressor. This is by Tube Tech. There is a hardware version of this, and the plug-in version is actually not that old. I believe this came out last year, at the end of the year, maybe. And a couple of things to note for this video: I have not purchased this plugin, nor is this video being sponsored by anyone but me. More on that later. So the first thing I'm going to do is take what Al says on how he likes to set the compressor and how he wants it to work for each band. And something really important here, he says that he plays around with it until it does what he likes. And this brings up one of the biggest problems that I come across, is that people want to know the exact settings of every plugin that you use. And exact settings will not sound the same for you. You're not mixing the same song, and even if you were, it's still going to sound different because using exact settings on your system, in your room, your monitors, playback, all of those elements are different. So let's do ourselves a favor and listen, adjust until it sounds good. The first thing that I guess we need to do is just listen to the song without the plugin engaged. So I've got that in bypass, and let's just take a little listen, a little snippet of this song and see what we're working with.
She went over to the corner, started mixing up a bowl. I offered her some fire, and with it she lit me whole. In a minute or two, I could see some clowns smile at me so grim. Never did like clowns at all, ain't think so much of them.
All right, cool little song. Like I said, if you watched the previous video, this was a song that was recorded in just a home bedroom, an empty room in a duplex apartment with a drum kit in the walk-in closet. And I think it sounds pretty good. So Al is referenced several times when talking about this multiband compressor, and then he just likes each of the bands to just tap it a little bit. So in choosing where our bands are going to hit, I don't want to get too technical with this video because it's not necessarily a plugin review video. This is just us recreating Al Schmitt's mix bus technique with this style of gear. So for me, I thought, having that at 100 hertz would be pretty good, and then at 4K here, but that's something that we can play around with. They go in between those as well, or you can just click on the actual number there so you can get the exact point that is labeled. All right, so let's bring this in. We're just going to be, as Al says, tapping each of those bands. And even in his book, he talks about how he will just tap the low, maybe a little less going up towards the high. So let's see if that's what we've got and if we need to make some adjustments.
She went over to the corner, started mixing up a bowl. I offered her some fire, and with it she lit me whole. In a minute or two, I could see some clowns smile at me so grim. Never did like clowns at all, ain't think so much of them.
All right, so initial thoughts, I do like what it's doing. However, we've got a lot of other things going on here because this is kind of my standard mix bus processing. I'm thinking that I don't need to have my stereo compressor engaged here. So I'm going to take that out and we'll do this again and see if that makes a difference for us, if that's something that we can tell.
She went over to the corner, started mixing up a bowl. I offered her some fire and with it she lit me whole. In a minute or two I could see some clowns smile at me so grim. Never did like clowns at all, ain't think so much of them. She told me I was in a place between Sodom and Gomorrah, while a raven made of salt was quoting Nevermore.
So I like what that's doing. I feel like it really is. I mean, it's controlling all of those areas. I think we've got a little tweaking to do, so let's see. I feel like maybe it was compressing the low end just a little too much, so let's adjust that.
She went over to the corner, started mixing up a bowl. I offered her some fire and with it she lit me whole. In a minute or two I could see some clowns smile at me so grim. Never did like clowns at all, ain't think so much of them. She told me I was in a place between Sodom and Gomorrah.
Okay, that works great. I like how it tightened up the low end, but not a whole lot. It doesn't sound overcompressed. It sounds like it just got snapped into where it should have been the whole time and snapped into position. That's kind of the first thing that came to mind when I engaged this plugin. When I was listening, it kind of felt like things snapped into place. It didn't sound so spread out. So we're definitely getting some compression, on those certain areas. It's kind of tightening those areas up a little bit. But I think we've got a little bit of more work to do. So let's continue.
She went over to the corner, started mixing up a bowl. I offered her some fire and with it she lit me whole. In a minute or two I could see some clowns smile at me so grim. Never did like clowns at all, ain't think so much of them. She told me I was in a place between Sodom and Gomorrah, while a raven made of salt was quoting Nevermore. Her words painted pictures, fantastic little tales. Her voice rang as clear as the Presbyterian Sunday bells. Philosophy shot through her teeth straight into my mind. Ripped from me in seconds what it took me years to find. Covering up the insane views held by the rich and the blind.
So it really helps on this middle band. It really helps to control that snare. And if you'll notice, that's where it's compressing the most, is when that snare hit comes in.
She went over to the corner, started mixing up a bowl. I offered her some fire and with it she lit me whole. In a minute or two I could see some clowns smile at me so grim. Never did like clowns at all, ain't think so much of them. She told me I was in a place between Sodom and Gomorrah, while a raven made of salt was quoting Nevermore. Her words painted pictures, fantastic little tales. Her voice.
So there's an overall tightening of it. I really like that. I'm going to listen to a different section here.
Finally made it back to my hometown and everybody looks the same. Men hold lifetime jobs, all these women hold a different name. All of my friends have changed the ways, from the bonds of babies or jail. Either way they've been trapped and I got no money to set that bail. So I'll just stay up late through the night and sleep all through the day. As the world goes by sometimes I cry to keep from blowing my brains away. As nights get late and
right off the bat, there is a nice polish, a nice commercial sound that comes out of it by just kind of squeezing each of those areas. It's really nice. Let's check that out again.
I finally made it back to my hometown and everybody looks the same. Men hold lifetime jobs, all these women hold a different name. All of my friends have changed the ways, from the bonds of babies or jail. Either way they've been trapped and I got no money to set that bail. I finally made it back to my hometown and everybody looks the same. Men hold lifetime jobs, all these women hold a different name. All of my friends have changed the ways, from the bonds of babies or jail. Either way they've been trapped and I got no money to set that bail. So I'll just stay up late through the night and sleep all through the day. As the world goes by, sometimes I cry to keep from blowing my brains away. As nights get late and I get drunk, she'll creep into my mind.
So having that set at 4K brings out more of the lead vocal. It just clears the way, I guess. It's you know, pocketing those bands, those areas that we've set, and it's really pushing the vocal out, but compressing, kind of pushing back that snare that's been a little bit of an issue for me when mixing this song, because most of the good sounding part of that snare is getting a little bit buried in the overheads. And even though I've got a compressor on that to kind of push that out of the way, we don't want to get rid of it because it all blends nicely to make a good snare sound. It just pokes out a little bit too much. So I like what it's doing on that, but somehow that vocal is really shining through. It's really making it more present when the plugin is engaged. Take a listen.
Finally made it back to my hometown and everybody looks the same. Men hold lifetime jobs, all these women hold a different name. All of my friends have changed the ways, from the bonds of babies to jail. Either way they've been trapped and I got no money to set that bail. So I'll just stay up late through the night and sleep all through the day. As the world goes by, sometimes I cry to keep from blowing my brains away. As nights get late and I get drunk, she'll creep into my mind. The moon ricochets light from the sun and I stay a step behind. But I see her face in the clouds above and in my mind when I close my eyes. She'll take the form of the smoke I blow and the stars up in the skies. Figure life is worth living though, even if I'm barely slipping by. I'll never give in, as so many have, to the great compromise.
Yeah, it just tightens it up. It really sounds good when the background vocals come in too, and everything just sounds a lot tighter, a lot more commercial, a lot more present. It's kind of amazing on how well this is working, and we haven't really done anything. I haven't looked at the manual. I haven't looked at what any of these things do. Just going by some basic knowledge and self, explanations of what everything is. Going on Al's tweak it till it sounded good. Not a lot of compression, tapping. Can't really tap on that snare. It's pretty dominant, but tightens everything up and pushes away things that we don't need. And what that does is it makes all these other elements work better and might not even need them. Like I said, I've, already kind of mixed this song and I just wanted to pop this in, and it didn't sound good with the 2500, the stereo compressor that I tend to use. And this does something a lot better, I think. Let's compare those two. That might be something fun to do. So let's pop this back up.
Finally made it back to my hometown and everybody looks the same. Men hold lifetime jobs, all these women hold a different name. All of my friends have changed the ways, from the bonds of babies to jail. Either way they've been trapped and I got...
So this one is more present. This one's a little darker.
Finally made it back to my hometown and everybody looks the same. Men hold lifetime jobs, all these women hold a different name. All of my friends have changed the ways, from the bonds of babies to jail. Either way they've been trapped and I got no money to set that bail. So I'll just stay up late through the night and sleep all through the day.
Another thing we could do is test this out with our tonal balance. I love using this.
Later on I walked down the stairs, met a man in a barroom chair. She was up in her room, blackened in her hair. And he was getting drunk in the early hours of the AM. I could tell that he really didn't.
It's tight. We're all in the proper areas that we're supposed to be. So yeah, do your multiband compression on your mix bus. Why not? Al Schmitt did it. And he used this very technique right here. And you know what? It's only made this song sound better. So something to consider. This video is not sponsored by Tube Tech or anybody but me. Anyways, let me know in the comments below if this is something that you are going to try out, if you already do this. How big of an Al Schmitt fan are you? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much, y'all, for checking out this video. If you found it helpful, go ahead, hit the thumbs up. Lets me know that you like this video. And I will continue to put out more educational type videos like this, more demonstration walkthrough style videos. And if this is a place that you've been finding some helpful things out in your home studio engineering journey, then consider hitting that subscribe button. It's totally free to do that, and that way you can always be notified when I release a new video. All right, y'all, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.